On to it. Is there anyone here from the public who would like to be heard? Okay. The first agenda item we have is approval of our most recent meeting, which was February 6th, 2019, to approve the minutes. We have a motion to approve. Second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is the legal bill of Mooney Wilkes, Deborah, and Angara. This is for January and February. This is a bill of $48,122.64. We have a motion to approve. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is the legal bill of Abbott Pollock and Sheehan. This is also for January and February of this current year. The dollar figure is $5,174.37. We have a motion to approve. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is ratifications. The figure is $2,040,734.24. Mr. Ackerman, can you talk about that, please?
Absolutely. Most of this is the closeout of some contracts from last year. So you see on the Newport Bell Bridge, the non-operations account, those are the closeouts of some of the bills. The other thing I want you to notice is we've changed the format. We're working with the finance department. You'll now see this broken down by individual bridge, as well as the other roads and facilities. I think that will help the board understand, what facilities that have money started.
Is there any way to change the number?
No.
It is much more user friendly, so we appreciate that. Any questions of Mr. Rothenberg? We have a motion to ratify. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item relates to a contract with HNTV. This is to come up with a 10-year plan, as the packet states, and as we know, we update our 10-year plan every 3 years. It really evolves every year. So, Mr. Rothenberg, just want to give a brief rundown on what they're going to do?
Certainly, what they're doing is another comprehensive look at everything we have. As you mentioned, every year we kind of internally go through it and update the 10-year plan. And every 3 years, it's nice to have one of our consultants come in, evaluate what those costs are, talk with the other consultants, meet with us to really look at what has changed in priorities. As an example, we were following for a long time a scour repair on the Jamestown Bridge. Over the last 2 inspections, that scour issue has kind of gone away. So we don't need to do that work now. We can push that off a little. So those are the type of things that we discuss. All the inspection reports come back and we update that. So that's the process that we're going through now. They will make a presentation to the board at the June board meeting. So we're simply working through that process with them.
Great. Any questions? We have a motion to approve the contract with HNTV. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item relates to a contract with CDM Smith, related to electrical improvements. Eric, can you give us a rundown and some questions about this?
Certainly, a couple of the items that we're looking at with the 50th anniversary of the Newport Bridge. The electric system on that bridge has pretty much come to the end of its life. In order for us to put a new electrical system in there, we need to hang something off of the bridge. The elevators are 50 years old. They no longer function the way they need to, so we've got to look at improving the elevators. I don't know if the board recall, a couple months ago, we had a special study done of the catwalks of the Mount Hope Bridge. So that catwalk system is no longer sustainable, so we need to look at that. So one of the things that we're doing is with those major items that need to happen on our bridges, we're also looking at what the opportunities might be while we're going to do those improvements. So can we look at revenue generation? We did a study under the Secana River Bridge a few months ago that the board looked at, taking and seeing what is the potential of the assets that we have. While we're doing these improvements, can we potentially look at a tower and new elevators going up on the bridge? I mean, the Newport Bridge. Can we look at potential of, can we put some kind of pedestrian bike path on the same time we're doing the catwalk? Does it make sense to look at these? So this contract is to have CDM Smith and Heat, we've done quite a few things in this arena. Take a look at this, help us make sure that we can do the work that we need to do for the bridge, but also explore, is there revenue generation opportunities? AECom, they have one person in particular that's done a lot of work for Disney and Universal Studios for a lot of the tower attractions that you see across the world. So they can help us analyze, does this make sense or not? Before we do any design, before we go down any path, does it make sense for us to look at these? Can they feasibly give the authority some revenue that we can then put into maintaining?
So, Eric, so it says $100,000 base program fee task orders that can be approved individually. Is that per consultant company?
Well, it's a team. So CDM started that together with AECom and a number of other companies. And what
So
they-
what are they gonna do?
So what they'll do is they're gonna run some feasibility studies for us. They're gonna analyze our existing properties and come up with, kind of like we did on the Tiverton project, where we did just on this kind of rate. They're gonna look at all of our assets to start. They put that together, look at what the costs are that we already have for the various projects. And then they don't do anything other than that until they come back to us with task orders. So once we get the project started, this is how we do all of our other contracts. All of our engineering contracts are $100,000, and then we get all their task orders approved. So once we have the initial scoping meetings where they get together, they review all the properties, then they come and put individual task orders for this board to approve moving forward.
So, how is it gonna relate to electrical services and, you know, the elevator?
So the electrical contract, the design of that is already done, and the preferred alternative is to hang a cable underneath the bridge and put a path on top of that for us to have access to this electric cable. So what they would do is look at that system and then help us figure out if we made that path larger and it accommodate our maintenance requirements. So right now, anytime you have to do maintenance on the bridge, we have a super truck, we go over the edge and underneath. Can we create wider and bigger catwalks so we can run a small machine? Can we,
As opposed to using the super
as
truck?
opposed to using the super?
Now, we were told when we did a super truck, that was gonna save us money, and the reason we did a super truck is because we didn't have that infrastructure. My concern is that this is $100,000 Disney World and the bike path. And I think that, hold on please, that we need to be very cognizant that the money that we have from our toll revenue and from the gas tax goes to maintaining these four bridges, so the people driving these lanes, paying the tolls right now, that's what they get, not Universal Studios, not Disney World. I know that we've had this discussion of a bike path, and if we had grant funding, and that came through, and, you know, the Magic Kingdom, so be it. But I just think that we need to be very cost conscious, and $100,000 to look at an expanded catwalk, so we're not gonna use the super, which we spent a lot of money on, really gives me pause. And I really see one page here of numbers of, you know, like the Miss America pageant, 1 through 10, and I just wanna know what we're getting $100,000 that's concrete. And I just don't, I don't exactly, I don't want this to be some end around where this is how we figure out how to do the bike path. We're not gonna use toll money to do it, but here we just spent $100,000 to figure it out. And that's my concern. I think we need to be less motivated by public relations and more about public safety and maintenance of the corporate structure. So I'm not comfortable unless I see what they're going to do before we go through with this. And I apologize for this. I've been out of town. I wasn't aware of this being on the board until I reviewed this last night.
It is an on-call contract like all other contracts.
Mhm.
So once we specify exactly what they need to do, they do come back to us with a scope for exactly that.
But what can you send to?
So what we're looking for them to do is a number. We want to say, does it make sense at this point, if we're going to put a new electrical system up on the bridge? And right now, those estimates are about $9 million. If we're going to put that up, and if we're going to hang that from the underside of the deck, and we need to get access to that line, we already have to do something.
What is the line for?
It's a whole new electric service, we can run it from the power. So we would hang that on the bridge.
And do we have proposals for them already?
We already have an engineer design for it. So over the past couple of winters, we had a number of slices in the line, and the line has basically gotten into a point of disrepair. But when we get a lot of freezing rain or snow when it's in the line, we lose power, the lights go out, we end up having to go back out and replace those and fix those. So is it critical? No. It is something that system needs.
So, what this engineering study for $100,000
This is,
study,
and it's,
what needs to be done with that electrical?
no,
We already have that, right?
we already have that. What we're looking at is we need new elevators, we need new electric lines, we need new catwalks. So what we're looking at now, we have to do all of those, those are all items that are in the 10-year plan. So what this group is going to do is look at the work that needs to be done.
This is a scope of their own services.
It's like every other, no, we do that. When we decide what we want them to do.
What do we do with it? Something I want to say.
So, two things. One of the things that we want them to do is look at revenue generation for the authority. So, one item that we've talked about is looking at the idea of an elevator and a tower on top of them.
Eric, I'm not interrupted there, because, like, we have a lot, and I know certain people have meetings to go to. This authority has not said that we're interested in additional revenue generation other than tolls, and we don't want to increase tolls, but this board is not on board, pardon the pun, with Disney World Tower and everything else. This board has never said we want revenue generation through that. So I think until we have a plan, if you want to come back and say, we need $40,000 to evaluate whether or not it's better to run a line this way or to hang it to the sign, we have a lot on this agenda, and I just don't think $100,000 for Disney World is something that we can spend all this time talking about. Everybody needs to move on. We have a presentation coming from RDW. So unless you have something concrete that you want to bring back, I don't think this is the time to do it. So motion, we're going to need to continue. There's nothing here, but unless there's anything to cross. Is that okay to move on to the next agenda? We'll move to reject that. Well, we need to do it in a positive form, I'd say. Make a motion to approve, and then we can vote it down. I think it's better than from my shoot. There's a motion to approve, is there a second? There's a motion second. All those in favor, please say aye. All opposed, say nay. Nay. Next item relates to Hummox Avenue Bridge in Portsmouth. Excuse me. This would be a contract with HACS and ATA&E. This is for $8,980.40. Eric, can you give us a description of this, please?
Certainly, this is the biannual inspection that's required. So we do that every 2 years.
The motion approved. There's motion to second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item relates to the Verrazano Bridge. This is a similar item related to HACS and ATA&E. Eric, can you just give us a lowdown on this?
Certainly, it's the exact same thing, Jamestown Bridge, much bigger bridge, a lot more expense.
The dollar figure is $613,648.88. Do you have a motion to approve? There's a motion to a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. This is related to construction barrier, only discussion on this one. Mount Hope Bridge payment project, the dollar figure is $61,009. And who is this going to go to, Eric?
This is, if you look at the memo, it is for.
Aetna?
No, OTW. So the difference here, last year, we rented barrier on Mount Hope Bridge for over $100,000. This year, we're actually going to buy the barrier, so we'll have it, our team can install it, and we can use this going forward.
We're going to store it.
So we'll store it at the compound here, or we can store it up at the compound with the Mount Hope Bridge. So we'll save about $40,000 or $50,000, and then we'll have it for future use.
We have a motion. There's a motion to second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. This relates to the stormwater pump station out here in Jamestown, Route 138. We're going to receive a operations maintenance manual. This is going to come from Parsons. The dollar figure is $7,050. Do you have a motion to approve? There's a motion to second. Any questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. This comes to Walt Disney World, a virtual reality model of Mount Hope Bridge. And I just want to understand what the first couple phases were. This is a not to exceed figure of $14,000, and it's to WSP and Spirit Engineering. So Eric, where do we stand with this?
So what the board has approved before is we completed a 3D model of the Mount Hope Bridge. And what this will do is we do our biannual inspections of the bridge. They go through and they notate on their inspection everywhere that we have deficiencies on the bridge. So if you have a bad joint, if you have some steel that's, starting to rot or fall apart, if we have bad gusset plate, if we have some bad ladders. What this is gonna do is it's gonna take that inspection report and it's gonna put those deficiencies into the 3D model. What that allows us to do is to have our maintenance people, our consultants, and our contractors actually go through the model, walk to that exact location, see where the work is to better define exactly what we have to do, what the access is, how you can get equipment there. So this is the final phase of what we've been working on for over a year. So the board has seen the first two phases, we've actually implemented that. We actually had it here one day at the company. So now you'll actually see those issues that are on the bridge, you'll be able to walk right to there and see what the problem is.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did they give you, when they created the 3D model and provided you with it, for you to interact with, did they give you the ability to also enter data onto it yourself?
Yeah.
So why are we hiring them to enter data?
Well, because we don't have the staff to do that. So we just hired a new asset manager, I'm getting up to speed. So Steer Engineering has sent somebody over there training him.
They're gonna train him?
Absolutely. So this is all.
So that's the last time
Yeah.
we need that. That's great.
There's a motion, is there a second? There's a motion, a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, motion carries. The next item is update on the deck replacement, Mr. Rothenberg.
Yep, I just want to give everybody a quick update, and start hearing some advertisements on the radio. We're going to be doing some press on that. Right now, we are out to bid with the next phase of the deck project. We are going to do approximately 4,500 feet of the deck this time. It's going to be from span 2 to 22 east, so basically from the cable band, 4,500 feet down the Illinois Collision Newport. The big difference that we're doing this time is we're going to do 1 lane at a time. What that means is we'll have constant flow every single day. So we're going to maintain 2 lanes coming in the morning, 2 lanes going out in the afternoon. We were able to design the project such that we can have the joints. Now instead of having 1 joint in the center of the bridge, we'll have 3 joints. But we're able to make sure those joints align up on one of the 4 beams. So we're going to do a 14-foot wide outside lane, 10-foot lane inside, 10-foot lane with 14 feet. So that way they line up on 4 beams so we can do this. It's going to be much less of an impact to traffic. We're also going to be installing, I don't know if you know the X's and green arrows that we have above the toll plaza. We're going to be installing those up along the bridge, so we'll be adding some gantries, and we'll be putting those green arrows and red X's in place to assist with the change in traffic patterns, because you will be driving in the other lanes for some distances. So all those will go on board. The contract is out to bid right now. The bids are due April 17th. We'll have the recommendation for the board at the May 1st meeting. The contractor will be getting ready for the major part of the project from May through July. They'll be putting up the gantries, they'll be prepping the joints, they'll be getting everything ready. August 5th, we're going to go ahead and take the lane. And what we're going to do is we'll be working solidly from August 5th through December of 2020. So we're going to get that 4,500 feet done. All those lanes will be done. We're working very closely with DOT. They have their ramp project starting in 2020 right now is the time frame. So we want to get all of this done beforehand. We spent quite a bit of time and effort in this board approved the contract for us to use ground penetrating radar and half self-testing on the bridge to determine the worst sections. So we have determined that this is the worst section of the bridge. So we need to get this done first. Then we'll take a hiatus while DOT works on the ramps over on the Newport side. And then we'll come back and we'll do the remainder of the bridge. And the testing that we've done has shown us that the rest of the deck can wait for us after we get this piece of it done. So you'll start to hear some advertising, you'll see some things out there. We will be back in front of the board, but I felt it was prudent to come to you now because we need to start the advertising if we're concerned about this project. Buddy and I have had a number of meetings with the stakeholders, the cities and towns to let them know that we are going to keep 2 lanes open so that we do not anticipate, the miles of back that we had with the last project.
I'm sure you have the traffic model.
Oh yes,
So what does the queue look like?
so the queue, actually, keeping the 2 lanes, we don't have any real issues. So when we go back, yeah, no, so we're looking at potentially a 2 to 5 minute delay, no different than what we have.
direction.
So, in the one lane direction, that's the 2 to 5 minutes. The 2 lane direction, we really don't participate. We do the first week. The first week is going to be really problematic, just for people to get used to it. So we're working with the city of Newport, Jamestown State Police, to make sure that we're in good shape.
So the modeling shows no, the peak commutes obviously are in the morning going into Newport, or in the evening coming out of Newport. The modeling shows no delay going in, no delay going out based on the 2 lanes.
Based on the 2 lanes, we haven't done all of that final modeling. What we did is we evaluated the lanes coming the other direction. Similar to what we do now is we have.
No, what I'm saying is, so you've evaluated where the heaviest traffic is, you evaluated that, and the modeling shows nothing.
So, well, we haven't done the modeling of the 2 lanes coming in, because we're keeping those 2 lanes, so that's no different than what we have now.
So you're saying 2 lanes in south,
Right.
and they don't feel that, the, kind of construction work zone set up prior to is going to create any friction.
We do think until they get used to it, it is going to take some friction.
So you'll have a few days.
Yep. So that's what we're saying, and we'll go ahead and do that. I mean, remember the last time we did this, it was 1 lane in each direction. So the problem that you had is we had 2 lanes. We had one, and we can't get that throughput volume, there's just no way. When you look in the morning, we get 8,000 to 10,000 people coming in, and you can't get that 1 lane traffic. So when you're looking at, 12 to 15 vehicles per hour,
August 5th is the start date.
August 5th would be the start date for the closure of 1 lane. So the barrier will be moved every single day, and it's going to be moved on the weekends as well. We work very closely with Discovery Newport to identify all the key events. So what we'll do is we'll embargo the contractor from working on some of those events.
Holidays, things like that.
So the Jazz Festival, the Folk Festival, the Wine and Food Festival, any of those big events, we won't be allowed to work on weekends because there'll be so much traffic. Primarily, they'll be doing their work at night, so they'll have the roadway from 7 p.m. at night until 5:30 in the morning. We've extended those hours to the middle of time. They will have the road also between 9 a.m. and 2:30 p.m., but we don't think they'll lose that a lot, because that doesn't keep them a low population that actually gets us stuff done. It will go down to 1 lane in each direction in those non-peak hours. Since we're tearing apart 1 lane, the contractor will need the 2nd lane to actually work.
And you had that traffic analysis done.
We haven't done that during the traffic scenario, so that is something that we are conducting on. Once the contract's awarded, and that's a task that he's got to do when he provides.
When is it 1 lane?
August 5th is.
So I mean, what time?
It's gonna be 6 to 9 a.m., and then it's gonna be 3 to 6.
Wait a second.
Oh, no, that's the 2 weeks, sorry. 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. It'll be 1 lane in each direction.
And then
it's-
overnight.
And then overnight.
Overnight and in the non-peak
Yep.
day. It's gonna be 1 lane. Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing that. I think the traffic is.
Yeah. And this is something, we looked at what we did last time, we listened to the community, and we spent, quite a bit of time trying to figure out what we can live with. It's not the best for us, I'd much rather have a single joint down the center of the bridge, underneath the median barrier.
One lane in each direction.
It's just, but the traffic is so much.
As a victim of that, I turn off the suffer trajectory in my prison reality. I get it. Thank you for that update. Mr. Malakowski.
Good morning. We have a long agenda. I'll move quickly. I just want to spend a moment on the customer survey that was recently conducted. We developed a questionnaire by looking at survey instruments that other polling agencies had used. It was out in the field in October through December of last year. It was an electronic survey. It was sent out via emails with a link. We used the Easy Pass list and the stakeholder list that Turnpike Authority has. Importantly, that includes all the elected and appointed officials, and we provided lists by other entities. We sent a survey email out a second time just to encourage responses, and we have 3,749 responses to the survey. Some of the highlights, there was quite a bit in the survey, there was a lot of questions. I boiled this down to just a few things to present today. Cashless tolling certainly is something that we're aware of that people like. The reasons are faster travel, the discount, and not having to deal with cash. Interestingly, 21% of respondents were not aware of the discount that you get when you use EasyPass. This first bullet point here, 85% of respondents reported their overall perception of the Turnpike Bridge as good to somewhat good. And that's an astoundingly high number.
Was that just across the family that was?
Yeah. We've got a big family of 3,000 people. In the government sector, the gold standard is the post office. The mail gets delivered. The post office regularly goes out with a customer survey, and they score in the 90% range on satisfaction. The fact that you are in that ballpark is really a testament to what happens here. We also hold a number of questions about friendliness, response time, individual questions, helpfulness, knowledge when someone calls here, and then secondly, the same 4 areas, separate questions about when they were visiting here. And they all scored very high in terms of satisfaction, in the 50% range. Interestingly, the negatives were extremely low. People were not satisfied or somewhat dissatisfied. It was way down at 4%. The others, neutral. So those are really high numbers in terms of the perception of the agency and its interaction with its customers. We did poll usage of the bridges, and 4% said they used both the Newport and Mount Hope bridges, and 7% said they used the Newport and Secana River.
Is that on a daily basis now?
No, it's in general. And so what this shows and why this is important, of course, we have the 4 bridges. We only polled one of the bridges. So the vast majority of the people who use Mount Hope and Secana don't go over this bridge. So they're not paying their share of the maintenance costs through tolls. That's picked up, of course, through the gas tax. So it shows the cross-subsidy that's taking place when it comes to just tolls.
You can add some extra entries.
Please. Bill, you're trying to get legal words now.
We don't have great, we're talking about Secana. On either side of that bridge.
In terms of tolls, this is not really surprising. The tolls are so low that 58% of tolls said the tolls the correct amount, and not surprising again, 40% said 83% was too high. We asked about if there had to be a toll increase. 63% prefer smaller, more frequent increases rather than one large increase if tolls had to be raised. We asked a lot of questions about signage, both traffic signs and warning signs, and they all scored very high. This is kind of a composite percentage looking at all the answers. But people were pretty satisfied with the clarity and the visibility of signs. They were very satisfied with signage that allowed them, when they're entering and leaving the bridge, that told them which direction to go, gave them enough time to make those decisions. And they're very satisfied with the work zone signage. So these are very high numbers as well. We did ask some questions about EasyPass, specific to EasyPass. There was a series of questions about it. We told them the service center hours, and 90% thought the hours were very convenient. And how they access the EasyPass account, no surprise, 80% do it online. But there's still quite a bit of traffic, both coming into the office and calling the office here that takes place. When you consider there's 140,000 EasyPass accounts. And they ask about their EasyPass account for transactions and balances and toll transactions. In looking forward, what would people think about or like to have? 29% suggested that they get text messages. I think that's a real challenge for any organization to actually do that with such a large list. But they also, 25% suggested a mobile app. And we're seeing that increasingly so, that mobile apps are becoming very, very prominent. A lot of organizations are moving to it. Everyone now is so tied to their mobile phones and all that, at one point it was websites. Now we're hearing apps. So that's something that percentage will only increase over time. I think it's a pretty good percentage to begin with. And 24% suggested a lower prepaid balance requirement for infrequent users. As I said, I moved quickly. There was a lot more in the survey. I just want to summarize some key points. Are there any questions?
Any questions? That's very comprehensive. Thank you very much for the good news.
Will we have a full copy?
Yes. The next item on our agenda relates to the bond anticipation notes, Mr. Cross.
It's that time where we look at what our 10-year plan is, what our needs might be, the funding that's in place, and the ability to pay for the funding. So, as you're well aware, in order for us to entertain the thought of borrowing, we have to go to the legislation and actually cushion approval. That's what we're in the process of doing. But the board obviously needs to be involved in this process. When you do a cushioner, it gives you the ability to continue the work that needs to get done. And we are in a situation where if I don't go for a cushioner this year, there is a chance that we won't, there's more than a decent chance, we won't have the money to continue to do the work on the bridge that is necessary. It's the timing issue. If I would have waited another year, might be able to make it without, but if I waited another year, I can tell you, in fact, if I go to the legislature next year, the money won't be there to continue, the borrowing streams going, so, I come before you, I've only done this, I think twice, maybe 3 times in 13 years, but it is time. The first question I get all the time is, just gonna precipitate a toll increase. My reaction to that is, we never had a toll increase, at some point, there will be a toll increase. Just, there's a strong sense, unless the gas tax was tweaked a little bit, or there was something that transpired that, it's either a toll increase or gas tax, as long as steel and those things keep increasing. My sense would be at some point, this authority would have to make a decision to have a slight one. But this one in itself, I don't have a magic ball, a crystal ball, but I think it would be a good place. But I've got people from First Southwest here to answer any more questions. Tony is here to answer any questions. I know that being a financial expert, I know Maggie had an occasion to chat with Judy this ahead of time. So that's all I have to say.
So do you require us to
Just
pass this resolution now?
yes,
And
pass
then
that.
hopefully the General Assembly will
They say
see
yes.
this once board and time one.
And then, once that happens, we go back to the board, because then we gotta put our RFP and look for, what's the best route to use and all of them. So, there's a series of steps. This is literally the first step.
Have you done any analysis yet on what you anticipate the amount to be and the terms to be reflected on the existing debt service?
Adam can answer those things.
Just identify yourself. Yeah, of course. My name is Adam Gray. I'm the director with Hilltop Securities. The cushioner is for up to $50 million. And the cushioner obviously is quite conservative. It assumes a rate of up to 6%, whereas if you price today, the bonds would be more in the 3.5% to 4% range. That $50 million, the largest piece, of course, is for the debt work on the Hill.
That's 20 million in the states overall.
And you're looking to borrow in order to cover more than just the states. Is that correct?
Well, for the debt and some other questions.
So this is a component of the almost $123 million actual, the 10-year plan, $123 million. So this is a component of that. As Mr. Croft said, there is capacity opening up because of retiring debt under the existing toll structure. So really what happens, the 2003 bonds matured in December of 2017. At that point in December of 2017, the debt service ticked up a little on the 2010 bond because they were issued to be more or less level. When in fact, even when the debt service ticked up on the 2010 bond, which is the only remaining toll bonds outstanding, the debt service is still over $1 million lower than it was in 2017. So there's capacity opened up by that. In addition, the debt service coverage on both the toll bonds and on the motor fuel tax bonds is well in excess of what the actual indenture is. So there's capacity, again, the inflow of revenue to the authority. So the requirement for toll revenue is 1.2 times, and currently it's 2.4 times. It is expected to go down now with that increase, but it's still going to be at least 1.35 times coverage. So 1.35 times as opposed to required 1.2. So there's that capacity there. And then just so you know, the motor fuel tax, you have to have at least 1.25 times coverage to issue new bonds. And currently, the motor fuel tax bonds in fiscal year 18 was 1.96 times.
So I just want to jump in, I wouldn't be before the board to ask for this, but if not for this, because of the timing and what the legislature know, if we don't keep this up and get it in place, we could be in a position where we'll have to go to the bank and borrow money.
Sometime after the legislative session,
So that's why I'm still doing it. And I've done this, I think this might be the third time in 13 years. I don't do this unless it's necessary.
When is the 2010 issue going to? What was the term on it? 15 year?
No, it was 13.
30 year?
Originally, yes.
So the overall estimate market coverage. Do you, and you don't anticipate needing any additional capacity beyond this?
No, as a matter of fact, 50, might be 50, we're asking for 50, could even be a little less.
I move to second.
there's a motion and a second to approve the draft resolution as presented before. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Ms. O'Connor, replacement.
Kathy, let me jump in quickly on that.
Mr. Carruthers.
That's all right. Kathy will get into the details. We had transponders, we've had them for X amount of years, and at some point, transponders, the life of the transponder, the battery inside the lithium battery gets old and died. And we now getting to that place where that potentially is going to happen. So one of the things that a lot of authorities, rather than deal with this, we just let it happen on occasion and figure it out on a case-by-case basis. Based on talking to our peers in the industry, and I think the prudent thing to do is to look at the people who got the transponders the first year, reach out to them and say to them, by the way, we want you to know that your transponders are at the age where, based on usage and what have you, they could be working fine, they could be getting a little bit older. So the plan was to reach out to that group in terms of the life expectancy, and then do that on an annual basis. Those that started in 2006, 2008, was it? 8. Those that started will address this year, the following year, 2009, will be an orderly basis. I think that's the way to do it. And in conjunction with this, we're looking to do a price change with transponders to lower the price of transponders. The evolution of time is transponders have dropped in price, and I think this is the opportune time for us to tell people, oh, the transponder, you might need a new one, but instead of charging $20.95, the plan's $10, which is an appreciative savings, but that'll be the price that we'll charge transponders as they've dropped the price recently. So this affords us the opportunity to say, you might need a new one, oh, by the way, this is gonna be the new price. So I'm sorry, Kathy.
No. Okay.
He took your good news.
And as Buddy was saying, our plan is for this to be a permanent program. We will reach out how we communicate with our customers now. When it comes to that 10-year timeframe, when you purchase a transponder, we will let the customers know you might want to look at it. We're not telling them to replace it, we're saying, please look at it. One more thing, be aware of your account, if you're seeing license plate. As I was saying, some agencies aren't doing anything, and we don't think that's a good idea. We've always been very proactive with our customers, communicating with them, we want to continue, and we think this is a good way to go forward.
Gotta keep that 85% builder rating.
I'll look at that.
President George Bush in 1991, we got to him.
I'll look.
There's a motion in the second to approve the street program. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Executive Director,
Mr.
report.
Chairman, on Monday this week, I was fortunate to have a sit down at the end of the table with Tim White from Tim Quell.
Oh, good. Let's get it now.
He was talking about violations and how much we have in our state. There have been a series of stories over the last 6 months in which the Air Patrol Agency in the Northeast. And those traded him to reach out and touch us a couple months ago. He wanted to know what was out in our state and what's out overall. And the number in our state was 3 and change, 3-point-something million. And overall, over a 7-year period, it's 9.6 million, which is a big number. However, I see you pull up your chair, right almost. 85% of that is fees and fines. And although some end up paying the fees and fines, and we have to reach out and touch that population, we're just looking for them to pay the toll. With that being said, we did it's 1 point, I think it's 1.5, right, 1.5.
What's your annual collections?
Well, that's, you asked the question, Tim White was surprised at our answer. The subset we're looking at, if they were to pay the $4, I said, we just want a toll. Once they violate, it's $10. With that subset, by the time we change us, we're taking in 102% of what the toll would have been, just the toll. Now, when we go to the next step with fees and fines added in, we're taking 105% of what the toll would have been had they paid, which is a nice spot, which made me say to me, wow, sure, it's a money grab for you. You're glad that they're violating. And I said, no, I wish there were no violations. I wish they paid their fair share. And this is about fairness. And I said, you pay, and this one pays. And I was pointing, and I said, they need to pay. This is an issue of fairness. So the story of obviously the headline was $6 million law. We told our side of it, it goes to the director. Every agency in the country is this. And no one wants to talk about leakage and their numbers. Ours is 0.08. That's what ours is. It's less than 1%. The industry says violation is 1 to 2, leakage what they lose. We're at 102%. Our violators are at 0.08, which is a great number, but we actually take in 102% or 105% of what the total is meant. So the story will be walking that goes to track. So it'll be out in a couple of weeks. We also received a complaint with the Attorney General on one of our fans from Portsmouth, Ms. Howard, mentioned to us that she had a problem with the foundation. And it was about some issues about we're not doing things in a public fashion. Our attorney's answer knows we think we're on more than solid ground. The 50th celebration is coming up June 20th.
We also have 85% popularity.
We'll have to work that into it.
The 50th celebration, June 28th, as we get closer, I'll keep everyone posted. And I just want to add, the next board meeting is May 1st. It's a quick turnaround, and that's the election of officers. So that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Any tough questions of Mr. Fromm? Any easy ones? Any other discussion? We have a motion to adjourn. There's a motion to second. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any adjourned?